Welcome everybody to today's sit down. I am super excited because I have the most beautiful, soft and kind human that we've had in our studio. Welcome to the show, Candy Benson. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and yourself?
Thank you for coming. Thank you for agreeing to do this interview, and I'm very interested in learning about your life, coming up, growing up, and telling your story.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's always fun to get out and meet new people.
Thank
you.
It's
really amazing.
Awesome. So I'm going to kick it off with my favorite question. So 2 years ago, you're 17. 2.5 years ago, you
That's
walk
so
in,
sweet.
17-year-old version sits here. I'm sure as bubbly as you are now, but what are your priorities, at that stage? Are you still in high school? Because I've asked that question to a couple of people and said, no, I'm already done with high school. Like, it took me until 19. So are you still in high school? Are you playing sports? Are you already singing? Are you involved with drama? What's going on?
Well, at 17, I was definitely still in school.
Okay.
I was actually put in a year early. So at 17, I was in matric. And I was the only matriculant who didn't have a driver's at that stage because I was 17. But I was fully involved with sports, academics, culture, singing, and I was singing all the way. I actually started singing when I was 13 years old already. Well, not started. I started singing when I was like 3 years old. There's a video of me on YouTube where I'm singing "I Always Love You" from Whitney Houston at 3.
Nice.
Like a cheeky, saying to my parents, "Don't clap now, only at the end of the song." And my parents wrote me in. Big diva at 3 years old, eh? And my parents started writing me into singing competitions. So at 17, I was full on into the music already. And my parents' only agreement with me was that I'm allowed to sing. I can do my gigs. I mean, sometimes at 13, you're singing at gigs and you only come home at 12 o'clock in the morning. They were like, fine, you can sing. We'll be there for every gig, but you have to come home straight A's. Straight A's.
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
I love it.
So at matric, I'd already recorded my first original song, Stay with Us, which CakeNet plays fraud still.
Nice.
And, I was still getting into the music industry, but already, finding my feet and already on my way, and started doing the first music video after that. So by then, my parents were a little bit more relaxed, and they're like, it's matric now. You've gotten straight A's. We know where you're going to in life. You can calm down now. But by that stage, it was so built in me that I was like, no, it was actually more of a very competitive, even at the age of 17. So I was like, not with other people, but with myself.
Beautiful.
So at that stage, I was just like, no, I'm going to keep on getting my straight A's. I'm going to keep on working at it. And at 17, thinking back now, I thought, I knew what life was about. You actually have no clue at that age.
I've got a clue, because mom is off camera here and she's just as bubbly as you are. And, on that statement, I don't want people to miss this, because I think I'm going to make a valid point. On that statement where mom said, it's fine. We know where you're going in life. You can relax now. I think mom instilled a system in your life where the system is time management, managing expectation and pushing you to be competitive with yourself. So she knew in her heart, she's smiling off camera. Even if she said that to you, the system was so embedded and so well oiled that you would still get the good grades, because the system is what gives you the result.
100%.
The system gives you, the result is actually just a byproduct of you putting in the activity. So well done, Mom.
100%. I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
Thank you. And many people miss that, you can't just switch on something and now I'm going to be great at this. You need to create a system. You need to create the challenges. You coming home at 13, at 12 o'clock at night and being able to go to school the next morning, do a full day, do the homework, get everything done. I mean, your time management at that very young age
Yes.
is better than 99.99% of the population today, because people can't manage their time.
Yes.
There's Facebook, Netflix. Did you get involved in all of that?
Luckily, at that stage, I don't want to give my age away.
It's 2.5 years ago. It wasn't as big as it is today. Let's leave it there. Yeah. But I mean, your time management, your system that Mom created for you at that stage of your life was the foundation to be able to
Yes.
be successful in all these realms.
Definitely. Both my parents were extremely supportive with everything I did. My parents were at every single hockey game, netball game, swimming gala, every singing concert, every singing
Very
competition, every dancing competition.
Amazing.
They were at everything, every choir practice. They were there for everything. And I think that also helped, having that support, having that, love, and knowing that it doesn't matter what you choose to do in your life, you'll have that support always.
Yes.
It made a big difference as well.
And only child?
Yes.
Only child. Okay,
I suppose that also made it easier for my parents being the only child.
Yeah, I suppose, if you're only child, 2-3 kids, if the parents are attentive, I mean, then it obviously created a system long before you were born to be able to free up time to do all these things.
Yes.
Because if the system wasn't there, depending on the work they do, then unfortunately. So I like Mom. I'm going to spend a lot of time after this interview with Mom. She's a mechanic. She knows how things work and how they fall into place.
Oh, definitely. And she runs like 4 businesses.
I didn't know that, but just from what you've told me about her, I believe you.
Yeah,
She's
no.
a phenomenal entrepreneur, power lady like you.
Definitely.
Beautiful. So my next question, you have massive experience from the time singing from 3, don't clap until I'm done. So already you knew, like I'm special. You knew. If you could go back to the beginning of your career, perhaps not at 3, but maybe at 17, now you're starting to take yourself more seriously. This could be something that I can, earn an income on, and so on and so on. So that aspect. But speaking to the people that are entering the career that you are well seasoned in, what is the one thing or 2 things that you wish you had at that age? That, that little bit of finesse that you discover later on. What is that 1 or 2 things that they can perhaps speak up and say, thank you, I really needed to hear that. I'll take it with me.
Well, I think that the big thing was self-confidence in my own ability to write.
To write
music, and to express, what I'm going through my music. At that stage, you're still young and inexperienced, and everybody's opinion is so important to you, and a lot of fantastic people gave great advice. So please it's not taking away from the advice at all, but just the lack of self-confidence to trust in my artistic views, my way of thinking, my way of expressing myself. At that age, I didn't feel any of my songs were good enough. Anything I wrote was good enough. I would always rely on everybody else to write songs for me, or to give me that validation that this is what I'm doing is the right thing. I listen to a lot of big people, people that are high up in the industry. And like I said, they gave fantastic advice, and that advice helped. I just wish I had more of my own voice, or listened more to my own voice at that stage. But that comes with experience and time.
On that note, I mean, that's how you create the confidence. It's through that experience. But I mean, and I'm very privileged. I get to speak to a lot of phenomenal people, and the closer they are to the top of the peak of their career, the peak of their game, the more critical they are of themselves, which you displayed now. Because 100%. I wish I was more confident. I always feel like I'm not good enough. Perhaps that's one of the reasons that you carried on improving and trying to get better. So
definitely.
So I think, speaking to the audience, what I'm picking up is, even though you are not confident, believe in yourself, but constantly seek that little percentage of improvement daily.
Definitely. And look at when I started out, I was so young. I had so much to
13,
learn.
12 o'clock doing gigs. You're still a baby.
I was still a baby, that's it. And you learn to grow up fast. I felt like I was a lot more mature in certain ways
Absolutely.
than my peers in school, because
Absolutely.
I had to learn how to run a business of sorts, you know. And I was lucky. My parents also helped me with that. Every single cent that I made from my gigs, they put in an account for me, and
Wow.
it earned interest. And, you know, that's, you know, I also started to learn how to work with money from a young age, which also helped. But that lack of confidence, the older you get and the longer you're in the industry, you start finding yourself. And I'm at the place now where I'm confident in my writing. I'm confident in my artistic ideas. And now when I record, it's not a case of I'm listening to the producer solely and whatever he says goes. Now I'm sitting there and it's more of a collaboration with the producers.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with someone, I don't know if you know Daniel Barron, he's
Yes.
also massive in the industry. We work together with all my English songs. I actually don't think I've done an English song with anyone else but him, because we have this openness. It's always fun. We go sit in a studio and the song starts out one way, and you know, you have an idea of where you want to go with the song. And while you're busy, you know, he plays a piano part and I'm like, yes, I like that.
Yes.
And then I sing something and then I sing it completely different to what I originally did. And it sounds even better. And where you started with a song that you would think would be a ballad and it's, you know, slow and sensitive, it ends up being something completely different, and you start having fun with it, and he starts getting into it, and the more he gets into it, the more I get into it. And I'm like, what if we add this drum here? And he's like, what if we add this guitar solo here, you know? And it becomes such a collaboration. And I think having that freedom has also allowed me to find my own voice and find what I want. You know, sometimes your producer has an idea of how the song sounds or should sound, and you have a completely different idea. And sometimes bringing those two ideas together, that's where gold strikes.
Beautiful. You know, we as a company have a culture of reading, and what you just described speaks to, I'm getting goosebumps, speaks to the book of the month, which was for our entire company. We did the Toyota Way. So in there speaks of a concept called Kaizen.
Okay.
And Kaizen basically means, you know, they've got the best manufacturing plant on the planet, manufacturing cars in multiple economies, in multiple left-hand, right-hand, different specs, America, Japan, you know, everywhere. We've got a plant here in PE. And the Kaizen way is, even though you've written the song, I'm just, you know,
Yes.
repeating what you said. You've written the song and you're an expert in your field. You're very happy. You're happy to the point where we're going to record. You still find areas to improve the song.
Definitely.
Through the process. And I think everybody can apply that into their daily lives. I mean, even if you're raising kids, there's always something that you can tweak. You know, I'm not going to let this go because this little small tantrum will cause a big tantrum at ShopRite Checkers where the kid is throwing things around. So let me nip it here.
Yes.
And this is how we can improve. I love your message. I'm really enjoying our conversation.
Thank you.
You're very fun to speak to. Thank you very
So
much.
are you. That's very interesting. I didn't even know that.
So Kaizen is the constant pursuit of improvement. And
I like that.
yeah, and even to the point where their flow or their process, any company's process is, your creative process is so down to the T because you've been doing it since you're 13 years old. You still find one or two things that you can improve or change the whole thing while you're in the process. It's beautiful. Okay.
The other thing that I would like to say to people that want to start out, the business is cutthroat. It's difficult.
Isn't all business cutthroat? Business is
100%,
war, my friend.
100%. And people think, you know, everyone sees the glitz and the glam and they don't know the hard work, the time, the disappointments that come with it. I just want to give people advice not to give up.
Yeah.
If this is your passion, if this is your dream, for me, sitting behind a desk would be soul-sucking. I don't know. Some people love it and it's good for them. And, you know, by all means, if that's what you love, do it. But if you want to pursue a singing career or a songwriting career, don't give up. It is hard. But anything worth having is always hard.
Yeah. You know, on that note, competition, I want to touch on competition because it's cutthroat everywhere. I mean, us, for example, we're still a small company, but we're coming up in the ranks, and everybody's like, oh, these are, it's the cute Mac Motors, and these guys are, they're doing their thing, and they're coming up, and we like spending time with them, and then boom, one morning I wake up, and the guy that was nice and friendly with me, all of a sudden is talking, BS behind my back. I'm like, geez, what did I do to you? What's wrong?
Yeah.
But now you're starting to take a little bit of that customer base, because now you're becoming a competitor. Does it work that way in the music industry?
Very, very similar.
Because we're friends, and now my album sales are X, and now you coming up here, ooh, now I'm looking at you differently. Is it the same way?
I think in any business, you will have some of that.
You create your own haters.
Definitely, but also I must be honest, just with the amount of amazing people I've met already doing this, I mean, I have so many good friends in the industry.
So it's not all bad.
It's really not all bad.
Good.
I think the industry is fickle.
Mm-hmm.
The industry is very fickle, and you always have your labels that are bigger. It's exactly what you were saying. Certain businesses are bigger than others. It's the same with recording labels, and they have the capital to put behind certain artists, and if you're doing indie, that's all the costs are on you.
Yeah.
Which makes it harder. And obviously, if you've got a label behind your name, you've got access to so much more marketing and
and that
cash
push,
flow
and that push.
100%. So that's where it's difficult. And also, there are so many artists, there are so many singers and songwriters, and everybody is trying to find their place under the sun.
Yeah.
And there is more than enough place for everybody.
Yes.
I think if everybody just had to realize that each person is unique, and each individual is exactly that, an individual.
Yeah.
No one sounds exactly like someone else, and everyone is bringing their own artistic view to it, and it all comes down to personal preference at the end of the day. You might like Celine Dion, I might like Pink. Completely different artists, but it doesn't take away from Celine Dion, and it doesn't take away from Pink.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
like you said, there's enough space for everybody under the sun.
100%. And I think if people just started relaxing and realizing that, just because that person's getting their spot under the sun, they're not throwing shade onto yours.
Yeah.
You still have your own spot.
Yes.
And that's why I say that the industry is cutthroat. But that being said, I have so many amazing friends in this industry who have done amazing things and who are so supportive.
Success is not limited, it's in abundance. We just need to, not put a limit in our mind to the success. It's in abundance. We can both be successful, and we don't need to be enemies.
100% agree with that.
Now, I want to batch the two questions together. Your biggest mistake, perhaps with some landmines that you felt like, you know what? Now, I know for a fact nobody gets successful, nobody achieves, the eyeballs and the fame that you have without making mistakes, because you learn, and success is based on how many problems and solutions can I find to things that I'm encountering. The more you can find, the higher you go up. So maybe you are comfortable sharing 2 or 3, and we're going to plot those coordinates so we don't go and step in those landmines, because you did the stepping and you had an A now, but there's a lesson. You didn't lose the lesson.
I must be honest. I don't have any massive mistakes that I can pinpoint. This is definitely for me all my life, and like you said, I think it's a system that my parents installed in me. Is that
process.
There are no mistakes. If you make a mistake, you're learning from it. So is it really a failure? Is it really a mistake? I think you have to make mistakes in order to learn from them. And in the industry, I can't pinpoint, I should have done that or I should not have done that. Everything led to something else.
Yeah.
So every step where you think, okay, I've taken now 2 steps back, when you look again, that step back has led you on a different path,
different perspective,
and you've learned out of it, and maybe you've gained something even better from it.
Love it.
Maybe maybe this is the humorous side coming out of me. Maybe my biggest mistakes is my choice in men.
Choice in men, yeah. Well, yes, selecting the right partner is crucial, absolutely crucial. Now, off camera, we had a discussion around a certain music video, and it will forever be with you. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. Life happens.
Yeah, life happens, and I know you're going to meet your soulmate very soon. Maybe you have already, and it's going to work out at the end.
Thank you so much.
You're still very young. You're a baby still.
Like
You've got lots of time.
Oh no, at this stage, I'm really just enjoying myself. I'm starting to find myself again without being with someone, and I am enjoying my friends.
Nice.
And I think I'm just concentrating on my music, which is where I think I'm supposed to be right now.
Awesome. Awesome. Takes a village to raise a boy or a girl. Okay. 3 influential people in your life that made an impact. That, you know, we can start off with mom. Okay.
Definitely.
We have to start off with mom. I'm going to impose that. Mom is number 1. Okay. So what did you get from mom, and perhaps 2 more people that you would like to share with us?
Well, definitely both my mom and my dad.
Mom and dad, yes.
My dad was a big softie.
Really?
Big softie.
Okay.
And his girls were his everything. So as long as we were happy, he was happy.
Beautiful.
So
is that soft though, or is that incredibly tough?
I don't know. It depends. I suppose it depends on your perspective.
I don't think it's
soft. When
soft.
It came to me, I was daddy's girl.
Okay.
So I could get away with murder with that, you know.
Straight A's, performing at 13.
Okay, he was tough in certain ways. He was soft with his girls, and his girls were his everything. Mom and I, as long as we were happy, he was happy. He would watch chick flicks with us just so that we could be happy, you know. He's such a...
Yeah, because we men don't enjoy chick flicks.
No, definitely not. And he's the kind of person that would, well, both my parents are the kind of people that would give the clothes off their back if you needed it.
Yes.
You know? And my mom is the tough one. She's the one that doesn't take nonsense, but not just from me, from anybody. With mom, it's black and white. There's no gray. There's no in between. There's either right or there's wrong. And if you're wrong, she's going to tell you you're wrong. And if you want her opinion, she's going to give your honest opinion. So, you know, mom was the one that she's extremely driven. And like I said, she, you know, runs 4 businesses, my business being one of them. She's also momager as well. You know, they own their own business. She's running a business in Monmouth Park for open safari vehicles, taking people into the Kruger.
Nice.
She's running my business. She's running a non-profit organization. So she's extremely driven. She doesn't let people walk over her. But that being said, she's the most lovable, caring, strong human being you will ever meet in your life. Yeah. She's really one of the strongest people I've ever met, especially through all the drama that we went through.
So kind, for the longest time, I didn't understand what kind actually meant. Kind is not soft. Kind is not weak. Kind is actually very strong. Kind is the person that when they need to be soft, they can be, but when they need to be still, they're very comfortable being both.
100%.
And you normally choose which one you want with them, and they'll give you that one at the time you need it.
Definitely. And my mom's definitely one of those.
She's kind, yes.
And my mom actually sings as well. We come from a very musical family. So it was also so amazing for me because she helped me so much with my singing. I never went for singing lessons and stuff. She would sit with me and say, okay, I can hear you off on that note. Try this. Try moving your mouth like that. She helped me a lot also with the singing. And like I said, both my parents never missed a single gig. Till now, my dad, he was the karaoke. He used to carry all the speakers and set everything up. And mom was the
karaoke.
The karaoke.
Okay, I like it. I'm going to steal that from you. Okay, good.
And my mom was the sound engineer. You know, she's got an ear on her, so she could balance the sound perfectly. Or she still does till now. And that's what we do. It's not just my business, not just my career.
Yeah.
We grew it together as a family.
Nice, beautiful. Love it.
And the third person, that's difficult. Like I said, we've always been such a close family, and because I'm the only child, it's always been us 3 against the world. But I must say, Lydia Winchester, my PR, and she's my media specialist. She's been in this industry for so long. She's an absolute legend. She works so hard, and like I said, she's deals with a lot of difficult people. And she also doesn't take any nonsense. She's straightforward. This is it, and this is how it's going to be. But that being said, she's also got the softest heart.
Kind.
She's kind. She is sweet. She's soft. She's become like a grandmother to me.
Beautiful.
She's also, you know, just everything she's been through in her life,
Yeah.
and how strong she is, and how good she is at her job. It's also always been an inspiration for me.
Yeah, PR today is different to PR in the 80s or 90s, because today there's so many platforms and there's so many cowboys and there's so many, you know, computer ninjas that, you know, they wake up upset and just throw fire at everything that they see. It's very technical to do what she does.
Definitely.
Especially today. I don't think it's been more difficult than it is today.
Yes.
Because it's so fast, and egos, emotions, you know, sometimes, you know, I've got the best intention of putting a piece of content out there, and I just get this miserable comment. I'm like, I'm going to respond to you. Then I'm thinking like, no, I shouldn't. I should actually, you know, thank you for bringing your opinion.
Yeah.
And I'll just try and improve and not take everything in, because some advice you must, some just need to bounce off.
I hear what you're saying. I've also been through that, where you have someone passing terrible comments, or someone that's so disrespectful, or just plain out being mean, and your reaction is to get so upset. And I used to take it so personally.
You can't though.
You can't.
Yeah. If it's constructive criticism,
Definitely.
you know, if somebody comes in and says, ABC is what I'm seeing that you're doing wrong.
Yes.
And I'm like, hey, nah. You know what?
But I hear what you're saying. That's kind of true.
Damn it. You know, let me improve on that. You know, thank you. But if somebody's mean, I mean, in, out, bye-bye, next.
You have to let it go.
Yes,
and
agree.
It doesn't help, you know, lingering on negativity. No. Take what has been said, turn it into something positive, and move on.
Pass it on to the world. Okay. Best advice that you've ever received and that you would like to share with us?
Oh, that was a tough one. Best advice I've ever received. To always be authentic.
Be authentic.
Always be yourself. And, you know, not allow too much influence from other people. You know, I think that's the best advice I've been given.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that I can think of on the spot. Beautiful. You know what? When we walk out, I'll be like, yes,
no, I love your advice.
This could also work. I could have said that. You know, most how it works.
Advice. I want to see if you go very dark or not very dark. Okay. Be comfortable to go dark if you want to. I'm not saying you should.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to get you there, but if you could be a fly on the wall, what are you going to want to overhear? Who's in the room and who's speaking to each other? If you could eavesdrop.
If I could eavesdrop. It's not even about someone speaking about someone. I would either want to be in a studio where either Elvis Presley or Kelly Clarkson is recording.
Okay, to see that process.
To see that process, to see how their creative juices work, how they create their music. Kelly Clarkson, purely because she has vocal ability next to none.
Agreed.
And she's got pipes, and she's really such an amazing down-to-earth person. And I've seen actually a small clip of her in a studio where she hits a note and it completely goes haywire, and she ends up laughing at herself for like 20 minutes long. And Elvis Presley, just the way he created songs, and I'd love to be in studio hearing and seeing how he thought a song should be created. I think that would be so helpful and interesting as well.
Absolutely. I agree with you. If you allowed a friend, I'll stand next to you on both occasions and just watch with you and learn something.
I think that would have been something, eh?
So I saw what you pulled up in here now. I mean, you're like, you know, we're here. It's the best car to drive in the rain. You've got this beautiful yellow GT Mustang, facelift, just amazing car. But what was your first car?
Well, my very first car that my parents bought me was a little Toyota Tazz.
A TT.
A TT, nice. A little Toyota Tazz.
Nice.
And
that car's still going, by the way. Those cars never break.
Guaranteed. And it was it was a little 1400. It was very, very cute. But the first car I ever bought myself was an SLK.
An SLK?
Yes.
High
that
five.
was the first one I ever bought myself.
Stylish. Nice. What color?
Blue.
Blue in color.
Yes.
Nice.
And it was a beaut. She ran. She never gave any hassles. It was a lovely car. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Beautiful. Nice. I like your car journey. It's beautiful. What's your dream car? If you could, I mean, you are driving a dream car.
Pretty much driving my dream car.
If you could say, money is no object. I don't need anyone to ride with me. What would that car be?
Sure. You know, it is difficult to say because I'm the kind of person I want to physically drive the car.
Okay.
Before I make a decision. Also with the Mustang, I was like, I had the Taz, then I had the SLK, and then I got myself an Audi TT.
Okay.
And
I like your car selection a lot. a lot.
And the Audi is an all-wheel drive, so I mean it sits on the road. I never had any hassles. It's not loose at all. So when I went through all the drama that I went through and I wanted to treat myself, I was like, what car should I get? And I've been eyeing the Mustangs out for a while now.
They're beautiful.
But someone said to me, they're quite loose on the road and there's a lot of power. I need to first test drive it. So I was like, okay, let's test drive it. Once I sat in her and I drove her, I was like, nope, this is my car. I'm not going back to a TT. I'm not going back to anything. I want this car.
So sales training 101. Bums in seats sell cars. That's how you sell a car. You put put the customer in the driver's seat. Say, let's go for a drive. Let's go get a speed fine.
Very much so. And I like the idea of an R8.
An R8.
I like the idea of an R8, also because Audi, and the fact that
so pretty.
It's so pretty.
Yes, the new one, the 10 Plus, is so pretty. Whoa.
And the Lamborghini. I like those
similar
two.
Car.
Very similar. But I haven't driven it. So I'm not going to say that's my dream car because, it looks fantastic. Just now you get in it and you feel unsafe or it just doesn't do it for you. I mean, on the way here with all this rain, as stunning as my Mustang is, the minute we hit some water, her arse just started going.
Luckily, there is technology that keeps you on the road. And
thank goodness.
Yeah.
But
otherwise, it will be a mess. You're like, hey
luckily
mama,
I
is you
kept
okay?
calm, It's not the first time it's done it in rain. So obviously, I think there's just a lot of power.
Yes. Also, I must say, it hasn't rained for a while. Not defending the brand, just defending the conditions. Yes. A lot of times, there's trucks and cars leaking oil and diesel and all this dust and everything on the road. So, that first rain is always dangerous. If it rains for a week, it's okay.
Yes.
Then everything's washed away.
Yes. So, I do agree with you.
Love your car selection. I love your style. Good. Are you a big reader? Do you enjoy books?
I do.
Give
I
me
really do.
2 or 3 favorite books.
At this stage, I'd have to say my favorite book is my pulmonologist, Dr. Emmanuel Taban, his book, The Boy Who, I think now, The Boy Who Never Gave Up.
The Boy Who Never Gave Up. Beautiful.
And his story is so inspiring and so motivating. And, with me dealing with him firsthand for months and months and months now, I'm seeing again
through your COVID and
exactly.
And, yeah.
So, he literally saved my life. But he's not the kind of doctor, with COVID, 5 months in hospital, you see so many different nurses, so many different doctors.
Tough, my friend.
And it was very rough.
And I mean, you're young and you're healthy. Do you smoke?
Not at all.
Drink?
No.
Occasionally?
I drink on occasion.
Yeah,
but
I mean, a bit of red wine, but nothing. And I mean, you're very young. So 5 months in hospital, that's heavy.
It was very rough. And he is the kind of doctor that is always bubbly. He's always positive. Doesn't matter at what state you're in. He always finds the silver lining, when he saw that I had a 5 centimeter hole in my lung, and my lung capacity, when I first went to see him, my lung capacity was only at 40%. It's now up to 62%, which
Congrats.
is thank you.
Well done.
It's not where it should be yet,
yes,
but it's getting better.
Yeah.
With all the exercises and there's improvement. And even at 40% lung capacity, he found some way to motivate me, to make me feel good, to make me feel like, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
He's so religious, which I love. I'm very religious.
Beautiful.
And he motivates you by saying, God saved you for a reason. You have a purpose here.
Yes.
And in hospital, he kept saying to me, you have a purpose here. And, you know, he was the one that said to me, I can eventually come off the oxygen.
Beautiful.
He believed that I was going to be okay, you know, and I mean, 5 months on I was on 60 liters of oxygen. And he eventually in December, not last year, I've got to remember now, in 2023, 2 years ago, he said to me, take the oxygen off.
We're good to go.
Let's give it a
take
go.
on the world.
And he said to me, you know, even if your oxygen levels drop to 85, you're still not dying.
Yes.
You know, it shouldn't be lower than 95, but if
Yes.
it drops to 85, you're still not dying. And I was very nervous because, I mean, I relied on the oxygen for months.
Yeah.
Months and months. 60 liters, you can't even talk with that amount of oxygen in.
Shame, man.
You know, so, and his book was so inspiring. You know, you always think your story is bad. You always think that what you're going through is bad until you read or hear about someone else's story. Then you realize, you know, there's always going to be someone that's been through worse and is going through worse than what you are. And you just have to be grateful for where you are in life and what you have in life. Because there are so many people who have way less and who have been through way worse. And that's why I find his book so inspiring. It's really a must read.
Beautiful. And I love what you said. I heard a quote the other day that really was profound. And the guy said, you know, people wake up and say, you know, I have to go to work today. Where if you just switch that one word, I get to go to work. I get to, you know, just before this interview, I walked out of an extremely tough meeting. 4 big egos, you know, big, huge. This room is not big enough for one of the egos. I had to deal with 4. But I didn't want to go in that meeting. I really didn't. But I get to go in that meeting because, you know, the outcome of that can either elevate the situation or decompress it. But I get to go there. Luckily, you know, I decompressed everything. But maybe tomorrow it won't. But I still get to go in there rather than, I have to go into the staff meeting.
I must tell you from personal experience, when I was admitted into the hospital, I can hardly remember the first couple of days in there. There's so much going on, especially at that stage. It was the Delta strain and it was packed. I mean, I was admitted on the 10th of July. I went outside and I passed out due to the lack of oxygen, and I didn't feel sick. This is the scary part. I wasn't sick. I didn't feel sick. I was just tired, extremely tired.
Lack of oxygen, yeah.
And then I passed out and then they rushed me to hospital. And then I was about 8 hours in the ambulance before I could get a bed in the ongevalle. What's ongevalle again?
Emergency
room, that's it. And about 8 hours, they ran out of oxygen in the ambulance, and they luckily another ambulance lent them oxygen for me.
Wow.
And then I was about a day and a half to 2 days in the emergency room.
ICU.
And then they only moved me to ICU.
Oof.
And I was in ICU for 74 days. On the 15th of
That's
August,
a long time, my friend.
It was. The 15th of August, my lung collapsed, and then they had to put a drain in. And then a week later, that drain started bubbling. Then they had to take that out and put a drain up here, a bigger drain. And they had to do it live. Because when you, under anesthetic, when you're out, your lung closes too much and they can't get it in.
Ooh,
so they
no, thank you.
They made
That's
it a
not
bit
fun.
numb, and they cut you open. And I remember this big doctor with big hands, and he was pushing the drain pipe through with his finger. You could feel everything tear, all the muscles tearing, all the nerves, you know, shooting. I still don't have much feeling under this arm. And with all this, I had muscle atrophy, so I had to learn to walk again. For the first 4 days in hospital, after, you know, once they got me to a stable position, the physiotherapist physically had to take my legs and put it off the bed. I couldn't even lift my own legs out.
Shame, my friend.
And I had
That's
to
terrible.
learn at a young age, you have to learn to walk again. And now I'm at the point, I used to hate running. Used to hate it. My point is, why do you want to run if no one's chasing you? It doesn't make sense to me.
And you've got a beautiful Mustang. Where are you running to?
You
Just
know
climb
what
in the
I'm saying?
car.
But now I feel I get to walk.
Get to run.
I have the opportunity. Once you've been once that's been taken away from you. I mean, when I got out of hospital, I couldn't even wash my own hair. To wash my feet, I had to sit on a chair in the shower, physically lift my legs up with my hands.
That's tough, my friend.
To wash my own feet. And then you're so out of breath, you have to take a breathe and your oxygen levels drop, and you have to have the machine on you to make sure that your oxygen levels don't drop to a point where you're going to pass out. And it's rough. And my age, to not be able to do the simplest things for yourself, walking to the bathroom, you know, just that simple task was so hard. My poor mom had a hip replacement done just before I got sick. And then when I got out of hospital, she had to walk with the oxygen tank next to me because I had to walk, A, to get the muscles working, and B, to get my lungs working.
Yeah.
So we had to walk. And she had to walk with that oxygen tank next to me with her hip replacement. And we walked to the stop street and back.
Mom's
and
a legend.
She is such a legend. And this is what it's coming down to, you know. 9 days after I was rushed to hospital, they rushed my dad with COVID. And he didn't make it. And with me, I had steroid psychosis. I was so sick. At a stage, they cleared out the entire ward. And I was the only one left in that ward because I got sepsis. And they had to, I had to sign for a non-FDA approved drug from Austria. So my mom couldn't even tell me about my dad's passing. She had to keep it away from me because all the doctors said I'm so critical. They really think that if I know they told my mom many times that they don't think I'm going to make it.
Shame, man.
But I'm here.
Yes. God is good all the time, my friend.
Yeah, and he's so good, and he saved me. And like you said, the fact, it's not, everyone says, you know, oh, I don't want to go to gym today. I don't want to go to work today.
I get to.
At least you have that opportunity.
Yeah,
At least you get to. And I've become so much more grateful for the small things.
Yeah.
The fact that I can walk now. Smallest thing, not being able to walk for so long, I get to walk. Now I enjoy walking.
Yeah.
I get to sing again. I get to do the things that I couldn't. I appreciate it so much more, and I'm so much more grateful for it.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Now, what is next?
Sure.
What's exciting, on the horizon that you would like to share with us? And how do we connect with you? How does your fan base communicate with you? Do you prefer Instagram? Do you prefer Facebook? How do you like to engage your fans?
Well, I am big on social media. I love Instagram. I love Facebook.
Good.
I'm big on all social medias. So people are welcome to contact me. Since the whole COVID story, I've had a lot of people contact me with similar stories to mine. Those that have lost people. Sometimes people just need to talk to other people and just,
absolutely,
get it out and feel better. So, which is fantastic. People can contact me on all my social media. If people want to go and have a look at my website, it's very simple. It's www.candybenson.co.za. All my booking information is on there if people want to book for gigs. And I love speaking to new people. I like meeting new people like you today.
Awesome.
So, I always encourage people to contact me on my social media and just get to chat,
Awesome.
And then what's new?
Yes,
I've been nominated for Afri Indie. I know you guys are one of their sponsors.
Beautiful.
I've got 3 nominations, Best Gospel Song, Best Pop Song, and Best Overall Song.
Amazing.
Which I'm so looking forward
Good luck,
to.
my
Thank
friend.
you. It's such a blessing.
Amazing.
And I'm writing new songs, which is also something to look forward to. And I'm going to start doing new music videos. I must tell you, when I got out of hospital, they pump you with cortisone.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that can
Not
save
fun.
the lung.
Not fun.
I turned into a little Oompa Loompa. A little Teletubby. My face was so round. I was massive. And it's so lacquer for me now. It's been 7 months that I've been off it. They say that it'll take as long as you were on it for it to completely get out of your system. So I've still got about 4 to 5 months to go before it's 100% out of my system. But I'm starting to look like me again.
You look amazing, my friend. You really do.
So now a person can, consider doing music videos again. A couple of months ago, if you saw me, you would be like, no, this is not the same girl.
No,
but luckily, all the swelling's gone down now. So looking forward to new music videos, doing new music, and of course performances.
My friend, it's been such an interesting chat.
Thank
You will
you.
definitely leave us better than you found us.
Thank
You
you.
really will. You made, I've learned a lot from you. You're a tough girl. You're a really tough girl.
You learn to be tough when you're forced to be tough.
Yes, you really are. And I'm very proud to have met you. And yeah, I think we're going to have a beautiful relationship
Definitely.
going forward. Thank you for allowing us to interview, and all the best.
Thank
Good
you
luck
so
with
much.
everything that you do.
Thank you. And thank you so much for your time. And it was so nice to meet you. I really enjoyed our conversation so much. And I hope it's not the last time.
No, it won't be. I guarantee you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.